When I was younger, I swore I would die in my own house. No nursing home, no caregivers, no quiet little room filled with strangers. I used to tell my wife, no matter how old I get, I'm never going to a place like that. But last winter, I fell in the bathroom, and I laid there on the cold floor for almost an hour. No one heard me calling for help. No one knew I was lying there, trying to grab a towel just to pull myself up. And for the first time in my life, I understood something terrifying. Old people aren't really afraid of dying. We're afraid of dying and nobody noticing. I'm 75 years old now. My hands shake when I hold a cup of coffee. My knees ache when I stand up. And some days, I walk into the kitchen and forget why I went there in the first place. Getting old happens fast, faster than you think. One day you're carrying your little girl on your shoulders, and before you know it, you're holding onto the wall just to make it to the bathroom at night. My wife passed away 6 years ago, and ever since she left, this house hasn't really felt like home anymore. It's just a place filled with too much silence. I still keep her old sweater hanging by the door. Her favorite coffee mug is still in the cabinet, and I still sleep on my side of the bed, even though the other side has been empty for years. Some nights, I leave the TV on just to hear human voices. Not because I'm watching it, just so the house doesn't feel so dead. My son lives in another state. He's a good man. Calls me almost every day. Dad, did you eat? Did you take your medicine? How are you feeling today? He truly cares about me. But you know what hurts the most? When the phone call ends and the silence comes back. That kind of silence that makes you hear the ticking clock, the refrigerator humming, even your own breathing. And then it hits you. You haven't spoken to another human being all day. I used to think nursing homes were places where old people got abandoned, places where families dropped you off and slowly disappeared. I judged people who moved into them until I got old myself. Because getting old isn't about gray hair. Getting old is standing up from a chair and waiting a few seconds for your body to catch up. It's becoming afraid of falling. It's waking up at 2 inches the morning wondering, if I die tonight, how long would it take for somebody to find me? After I fell in the bathroom, my son called me. His voice sounded shaky. Dad, maybe it's time we think about assisted living. I got angry, really angry. I'm not dead yet. I'm not a burden. You just want to get rid of me. And then I hung up on him. That night, I sat alone in my dark kitchen, and for the first time in many years, I cried like a child. Not because I was hurt, but because deep down, I knew he might be right. The hardest part about getting old isn't the pain. It's realizing you're no longer the person you used to be. The man who could fix anything around the house now struggles to open a bottle of pills. The man who used to drive across the country now hates driving after dark. The man who spent his whole life protecting his family now has to learn how to ask for help. And that hurts more than people realize. A few months later, I finally agreed to visit a nursing home. I walked in, expecting sadness. I thought I'd see lonely old folks staring out windows waiting for their children to visit. But that's not what I saw. I saw an old man laughing so hard during a chess game he could barely breathe. I saw a group of women arguing about who was prettier back in the 1960s. I saw people exercising together, talking together, living together. And for the first time in years, I saw old people who weren't just surviving. They were still living. An older gentleman sat beside me that day. He looked at me and asked, "You live alone?" I nodded. Then he smiled and said something I'll probably remember for the rest of my life. Loneliness kills old people faster than heart disease. And the worst part was, I knew exactly what he meant. Younger people think old folks only need medicine and food. We don't. What we really need is to feel like we still matter to somebody. A simple good morning, someone to eat dinner with, a voice down the hallway, a hand helping us down the stairs. That's all. When you get old, the little things become the big things. I still haven't moved into a nursing home. Maybe one day I will. Maybe I won't. I honestly don't know yet, but I'm not afraid of the idea anymore because I've realized something important. A nursing home isn't always the end of life. Sometimes it's the place where people finally stop fighting loneliness by themselves. And maybe that's the last thing I want to say tonight. I don't think nursing homes are right for everybody. Some people are happiest staying with family. Some people are still healthy enough to live on their own. But I also don't think it's something to be ashamed of anymore. After 70, you start to realize that peace matters more than pride. Having someone around, having a safe place to sleep, having people who notice when you're not feeling well, those things matter. A lot more than we admit. But what about you? If one day you got old, would you ever move into a nursing home? Or maybe you've already gone through this with your parents or grandparents. I'd really love to hear your story. Share it in the comments. Because maybe your story might help another lonely old soul out there feel a little less alone tonight.